Blessings and Happy New Year, everybody. I hope you are all doing very well out there. In this video, we're going to be talking about setting ourselves up for a new year and for better energy. And I was inspired to do this because, well, I don't do spring cleaning, I do winter cleaning. It is January 1st at the time of creating this video, though you can do this any time of year. Actually, you're going to want to probably do this a couple of times a year. You're going to want to maintain, right, chop wood and carry water, no matter what stage of your spiritual practice you're in. But we're going to talk about ways to maintain the best energy in your home environment, your home atmosphere, so that you can have faster, higher quality manifestations from all of your work, whether it's spiritual work, right, energy work, magic, casting, ritual, ceremony, manifestations that come through that, or through your mundane work, whether it's just, getting organized, setting intentions or creating a vision board or whatever you do on the mundane side of things, the non-spiritual side of things. This will help out with that as well. It's really important to remember that your home is the most important spiritual tool or talisman or resource that you have. It is the microcosm of our personal macrocosm experience when it comes to going through all corners of our reality. So what we bring into the home and what we keep in the home is going to have an effect on the quality of our manifestations and invite or disqualify or refuse or attract all kinds of different things as well. And so, of course, as spiritual practitioners, since we are aware of this and we are awake to this, then we also need to take responsibility for this, right? If you're awake, you have to take responsibility. When my home is not at its best or not at the best it could be, then I do encounter less than desirable circumstances outside of my home when I am going out. And that includes even on the internet, whether it has to do with the people that I'm interacting with, or maybe just my commute, traffic jams, right, disarray, or I might be encountering problems in certain projects, things are not flowing very well. Because I am in this environment is therefore, I guess you could say, contributing to what vibration is matching what. And before I got to the spiritual side of things, such as, again, setting the space energetically with crystals and smudging and anointing and all of that, I took a good hard look around my home. And we are coming after the holiday period. It's been very busy. I was running a sale up until last night, and I was just not on top of it. I noticed that, my office had become a bit of a disaster area. I was not really very diligent when it comes to maintaining my living room, my kitchen. I kind of treated like a hotel kitchen. And so I was like, well, I'm not going to go and sage or smudge or anoint or sprinkle salt water around a trash heap, right? It doesn't make any sense. I'm not going to smudge or try to raise the vibration of chaos or garbage or mess, right? You wouldn't do that in any other kind of situation. Why would I do this here? So time to get to work, right? And that'll also help whatever blessings I set in the space actually take hold of the space. So the first thing I like to do is, of course, clear and declutter. And the reason that I do that is because, it might seem simple and boring, and that is, it's kind of a buzz topic, or it's been a buzz topic for a long time. But decluttering your space and getting it reorganized, helps to get under control any kind of accumulation of stagnating material that builds up energy that may be blocking you in a lot of different ways. Also, anything that you handle, all physical matter in your life is still energy. And so it's going to carry an energy signature. So I don't want things that are just sitting there holding the space still, or holding the space in a state of chaos or entropy or disorganization, to vibrate that throughout my home for me. And I certainly don't want that to disqualify me from a lot of the things that I want to manifest or cast forth or cast away when it comes to my life. Excesses of clutter not only disorganize the space and disrupt a vibrational match that you might be trying to make, but it can also hold on to a lot of the memories or the energies or the records of experiences that may go on echoing in your space. So say, for instance, I was holding on to, I don't know, a water bottle while I was in an argument with my dad on the phone, and it got really, really heated, and it was just, shouting and, just kind of take it as far as you want to go. Me leaving that water bottle and God knows maybe even some water in it, on the coffee table or on a shelf or on the counter, not clearing it away, not making sure that that clutter isn't around, it's still going to be holding that energy from that argument or from that fight. It's also going to subconsciously remind me of that experience over and over and over again every time I see the damn thing. And so it's going to be really important for me to get that out. So it isn't creating a space in the environment for that experience, and it's not subconsciously running my energy to potentially recall or restore or revive that experience within myself. It's also really important, to understand when we talk about disqualifying energy does not necessarily mean like a judgment, right? This is something that is just alchemical. You can't take alchemy personally. It's like saying baking soda and vinegar coming together are making a mess. It's not because there is an emotional reasoning to it, right? It's not because the vinegar hates the baking soda. It's just a reaction. So controlling the alchemical reaction so that nothing is disqualified that I want, and that which I don't want is disqualified, is what I need to be doing here. So decluttering, absolutely crucial. Number 2, staying on top of decay. And this is something that a lot of people who do talk about things like decluttering, or they talk about feng shui, and they talk about environmental cleansing, seem to always ignore or stop paying attention to for whatever reason. Staying on top of decay or staying on top of decomposition is crucial. While the process of decay and decomposition is natural, matter breaking down, right, and the energies surrounding that matter going to work in making that process so, you don't want this in excess in your home for long periods of time. The energy of decay, the energy of breaking things down will off-gas, right? It's not necessarily off-gassing in terms of just a smell. Sometimes there is a smell, right? If you've ever had, a dead plant that you didn't know was dead that you kept watering. I've certainly done that. There's going to be a point where anything that is organic that's breaking down is going to then send the energy of a breakdown out into your space. This also applies to things like old food, dust, dander, anything that could be coming off of you, right? Your skin cells in your clothes, any kind of shed hair from yourself or your pets, anything that is going to go into that process, you're going to start getting the energy of the breakdown. It's a natural transmutation process, but it is not something you want taking place in your space in excess. This will also break down the energies of what you are trying to manifest and what you are trying to maintain. So stay on top of it. If you are maybe not so good about your food, if you are not so good about sweeping or dusting, then you might want to see what is happening there. It's also important for spiritual population control because the energy of decay can often attract less than ideal thought forms, energy forms, spiritual parasites, or any kind of entities that tend to feed on decay. And so once that gets a little out of control, then that means you're also going to need to be ready to do a full-blown house clearing once you get rid of what is so attractive to those presences or to those energies and to those entities. You're kind of having to deal with both. Staying on top of oil buildups is also crucial, not something a lot of people talk about, but oil buildups can start to store and hold a charge. Oil is widely known for its power to hold, amplify, and even impart energy wherever it is present. This is why so many spiritual traditions use oils, right? Anointing oils and condition oils in their workings. However, deposits of oil or even say like grease or shortening, things like that, especially around the kitchen where you're cooking, but even body oils that might be in your clothing, in your bedding, on your furniture, can work against you if they are absorbing a lot of negative energy and holding it in the space. It's taking on that energy that is present and then anointing or conditioning your world for that experience. So really take a look and see, all right, well, what is going on? Do I have maybe some oil splatters on the wall in my kitchen? I do a lot of stir fries and I love to cook a lot of Japanese food. And so I tend to sometimes have the splatters happen. Maybe you have been not so careful when it comes to the upkeep of certain articles of clothing, and body oils are doing that. When was the last time that maybe you went and checked out what was going on with your bedding, with your mattress and all of that? Really see what we can do to remove or clear at least the energy that's built up in those oils. Now, it may not necessarily be possible to remove the oil 100%, right? That's just something that happens. But, if we're talking about bedding and mattresses and things like that, it's good to change your mattress once every 5 years or so. But maybe you want to get into the habit of sprinkling some sea salt, on top of your mattress before you put clean sheets on it. So it helps neutralize that effect. If you can pull out any oils, that's even better. But, keep that energy in the flow that you want. There really shouldn't be an excess of oil buildup in the home. And of course, yes, we do anoint our space, but we want to make sure that we keep track of where we are anointing our house with oils, whether it's a protection oil or a blessing oil, and refresh that every once in a while. I always keep track of where I anoint on top of the doors of all of the entrances as well as all the rooms in my house. And then when I go to put on a new oil, and I'm doing a big clean again, and I do this maybe once an equinox, once a solstice, just maybe 4 times a year, sometimes 8, I will clean off the old oil, right? I'll spray it down with, something with ammonia in it, like 409, or even Windex is great. Really kind of neutralize that energy, get some degreaser action in there, and then I will apply a new anointing oil. But you don't want those oils building up. I also recommend going through and seeing what you can do to donate clothing, articles of clothing or bedding that you don't wear anymore, you don't need anymore, because one, it's just a nice thing to do, but 2, it will also help get you out of maybe a timeline or an experience that is being held in the memory or in the energy of those objects. Now, be nice and be kind and clean this stuff that you're going to donate first, right? Cleanse it. And if you want to be extra careful, put a pinch of sea salt in the wash when you're doing it. You don't want to send any of that old energy on to the next person. But it is also going to help you to not only release any old, time constructs that may be going on in your world, it's also going to help break you out of a lot of old attachments. It's also going to help create an outbound flow for abundance, right? In order to draw in more wealth and happiness and, prosperity in the material sense, we need an outbound flow that is not a debt. Right? A debt being, say, something like a credit card or a revolving bill. And when you donate clothing or you donate, anything that you don't need anymore, stuff that's just sort of frozen in time in the storage, you are creating an outbound flow and you're helping other people and you're breaking out of any kind of locked time experiences that maybe you don't know you've been stuck in. So that's just a few tips that I would recommend for going into a bit of a New Year clean to bring in and control and optimize the energy of your space We will come back with more on this topic later, guys. I hope you are all doing very, very well. I want to say blessings to you for your happy new year, and if you have any questions about this video, or you'd like me to follow up on this with maybe an expansion on something I've already talked about, leave a comment in the down bar below. You guys take care, and I will be back again soon.